Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. In this video, I'm going to be taking a further look at yield nodes. Now, some of you may have seen my previous videos on yield nodes and will know that I'm currently trying to investigate really more about yield nodes, trying to find out more about what's happened with yield nodes, who the people behind yield nodes are, what those people did prior to yield nodes, because I have been told that they were involved in other projects that turned out to be not so good projects, for want of a better word. Thirdly, I want to try to establish if there's any likelihood that we will get our investments back from yield nodes. My guess is that we probably won't, but that's just my humble opinion. I've got no obviously evidence to support that at the moment. It's just what I personally believe. I believe this even more so now after speaking to a number of people who have contacted me via email, on Twitter, Discord, these and on YouTube actually. These people have got a lot of information. How accurate that information is, I'm yet to discover really. I'm looking into that and trying to piece things together. Got to be very careful about what I say about yield nodes and the people who've obviously contacted me, because some of these people want to remain anonymous for various reasons. Some people are quite open about who they are, to me that is, but that's not to say that they want their names put out publicly. So again, I need to be very careful there, and obviously I've got to be careful about what I say, because I don't want to be sued by yield nodes for saying anything that's inaccurate or untrue. And of course, from a moral perspective, I don't want to be pointing the finger at people if there's no basis for any kind of accusations really. So I've got to be very, very careful about what I say. But what I will say is that a number of individuals have contacted me. Some of these individuals have been victim of bullying, harassment, legal threats from yield nodes. So they do obviously take these things very seriously, and rightly so, I guess. You don't want to be labelled as being a scammer, if you're not. So, they've got every right to do that. But it does set my mind thinking, what is the reality here? What is going on with the yield nodes? So the first thing I want to take a quick look at is this email from Stefan sent yesterday, Sunday, 30th of July. This is just an email regarding the NFT collection on Magic Eden, and it says that the NFT is progressing remarkably well. Yield Nodes NFT has ascended to the highly coveted number 2 position on the prominent Eden NFT marketplace. Highly coveted number 2. Number 1 is highly coveted. Number 2 is number 2. Second, not the winner. Anyway, it says that they are number 2 and they've got traded volume, I think this is dollars, 15,000. Whereas the number 1 position is 201,000, so massive difference. They're miles away from the number 1 spot, and everything that comes behind yield nodes is not far behind at all. 11k, 9.8, 5.1. So that's not a big selling point for me. All that says is that people are trading their NFTs and selling them for a fraction of what the value printed on them is. I nearly said what they're worth, but I don't really think they're worth anything, but they're trading them for a fraction of the price of what they printed on them, supposedly worth. Coming down, it does say that the NFTs are also listed on Unique.io, OpenSea, OKX, and Tofu. There's no mention of how they're performing on those sites, so I'm guessing that they're not doing very well. I've not looked at them, but I don't expect that there's massive traded volumes over there. Then there's a link to a video here, how to buy discounted NFTs. YouTube video, if I click on it, it's probably by Liam. I've not clicked this yet. Is it by Liam?
Things leave you guessing. Like, is this
yeah, Crypto Yields UK. So there you go, another promotional video for yield nodes from Crypto Yields. And then what else? Yeah, deadlines here. So it says the deadline for the yield nodes NFT is rapidly approaching. Midnight on the 1st of October 2023. Any unclaimed NFTs after this deadline will be burned, in brackets destroyed, thereby increasing the rarity and potential value of the claimed NFTs. So what they're saying is if I don't claim my balance onto the NFT, then somebody else who has claimed their balance will be rarer and potentially more valuable. Don't see how that works. If it's worth 20,000 euros, it's worth 20,000 euros. It's not that people are buying these because of an NFT. It's not like buying, one of these daft monkeys that's increases in value because it's rare, because it's, I don't know, a monkey smoking a bong or whatever it's doing, I don't know. It's got a value printed on it. 20,000 euros is never going to be worth 30,000 euros, I don't think, because at the end of the day, it's associated with the balance that's within the Yield Node system, or Yield Nodes Pro in the future. So I don't see really what they're trying to say there. Anyway, so then it goes on to say, while this action will not erase your Yield Nodes balance, the advantages associated with the NFT ownership, such as self-governance of your balance, 120% buyback terms, potential marketplace appreciation, and more will be forfeited. So again, if you trade your NFT, or trade your Yield Nodes balance, for an NFT, and you hold on to it for 1 year, then Yield Nodes will buy it back from you for the value that's printed on it, plus an additional 20%, assuming that Yield Nodes Pro is performing in the way that they want it to perform. And I'm sure a year from now there will be ways and means of saying to you guys, or us guys, that Yield Nodes Pro unfortunately didn't perform the way they wanted, therefore they cannot buy back your NFT. Again, that's just speculation. I'm not saying that will happen. I'm just saying that could happen. I'm not personally transferring my balance to an NFT. I'm not suggesting that you do the same. That's entirely up to you. If you want to do, trade it or keep the balance in your Yield Nodes account, it's entirely up to you. I'm just going to keep my balance where it is at the moment, because they have said in this email that, if you do, nothing will happen to it. Your balance will just still stay there. There may be a way around it in the future to say that because you did this, then there are fees, etc. with because you didn't transfer it to the NFT, then there might be maintenance fees. It does say that somewhere in, I think it's in this email. If not, I did see it somewhere anyway to say, if you don't trade it, then there might be fees applied for keeping your Yield Nodes balance in the Yield Node system. But yeah, that's what I'm doing, because I feel that if we transfer our balance to an NFT, then the terms and conditions to what we originally agreed to when we deposited into Yield Nodes will then obviously be redundant. New terms will apply to this NFT, and I think we're really putting our investments at risk. Again, my opinion, after speaking to a number of individuals who know much more about this than I do, that is their opinion as well. These guys have been speaking to legal representatives, and there's a lot of evidence to support that fact, which I'm sure at some point down the line in the coming weeks I will be able to share with you, but not just yet. Anyway, let's just take a quick look at the Magic Eden marketplace here, and we can see this is the list of Yield Nodes NFTs. These are the ones that have currently been traded. I've just filtered it by activity here, and we can see that some of them have sold for considerably less than the value printed on them. So this one, for example, is valued a Yield Nodes NFT 6,453 euros, and it's sold for, what's that, 2,000 Matic. How much is 2,000 Matic? I'll do it in euros actually. 2,000 Matic in euros. 1,295 euros. So this NFT here, valued at 6,400 euros, sold for 1,200 euros, fraction of the price. Let's see a bigger one down here. There's one here, 136,000 euros is the value on the NFT. 136,000 euros, and it's just sold for 13,200 Matic. 13,200 Matic in euros is 13,200 euros Matic in euros. Let me go to this website. 13,200. 8,336 euros. Wow. So what's that? That divided by 136. 1,182. 6% of its value. Wow. So a balance of 136,000 euros has sold for 8,000. Now, why do you think that is? Why do you think this person who's got a balance on their NFT for 136,000 euros has sold it for 8,000? Because they'd rather have 8,000 euros than no euros. And that's what they believe will happen. They believe, like I do and like many other people do, that these NFTs are going to be worthless, which is why people are selling them for ridiculous prices. Who's buying these? Are Yield Nodes buying these? Because if I was Stefan, I would be thinking, well, I don't want to pay this fella out 136,000 euros in a year from now plus 20%. I could have that 136,000 euros myself. I'll buy that if I was that confident that they're going to be able to pay this these investments back in a year. Maybe it is him. Maybe it's Yield Nodes, this one, Crypto Yields UK, who's buying these up. You know, this person, Liam, who puts these videos out, is very confident that these NFTs will be worth what they say they're worth in a year from now. I don't believe that they will be worth anything in a year from now, and that's why people are selling ridiculous balances for so much. Anyway, on to my next point, which is this email I've received here. Now, I've printed it out because I don't want to show my screen because it will give away the person's address. But basically, this person says, I'm a Yield Nodes investor. Well, loser. It says I'm a Yield Nodes loser like yourself. I saw your video on Yield Nodes. I'm available to assist in the investigation. I feel we need an investor to go to Malta who could request to meet with Steve and any other member of their team and request to see documents that prove they're being honest with investors about their intentions. Someone who can sit down with them and record a video presenting evidence of why we should or should not have confidence in the story they're putting out, with their friend Liam from Crypto Yields UK, who states openly that he's a big fan and believer in Yield Nodes. This makes me think Liam has gotten his money back and is now just a smokescreen to help keep the heat off Steve. These are not my words. This is from an email I've received. I don't know, so I'm not pointing the finger at you, Liam. I'm just saying this is what someone said to me, so these are the things we need to understand, investigate. My question is, where did the money go? Where is all the equipment they purchased to create these masternodes? We want proof the equipment still exists. We want to see the equipment. When a company goes bankrupt or out of business, it is normal procedure that their assets are sold to help pay back investors some of the money they lost. Good point. I propose to create a fund to finance a trip to Malta to investigate. I'll start by donating €100 to this fund. I live, won't tell you where he lives, and I'm probably closer than many investors to Malta. I've got a camping car. Blah, blah. Anyway, so this person says he could, he'd be happy to go and investigate. I don't know who this person is, so obviously, you know, I don't want to start a campaign to raise funds to help send this person to Malta to investigate because I don't know who it is. The point is that he's saying, you know, all these funds and equipment that was used for masternoding, you know, where is it and why are we not seeing proof that this equipment still exists, or indeed that they are selling the equipment to generate assets that they can then start paying back Yield Nodes investors with. It does say on one of the sites something I spoke with somebody else about recently. They pointed out one of the original terms in the Yield Nodes documentation was that they would, I think it was a video actually that Stefan did a few years ago, they would, if need be, sell assets in order to pay back investors if things didn't go quite to plan. And that's what this fella here is saying as well. So why hasn't that happened? There's lots of assets that they could potentially sell. Has that happened? And if so, where are those funds? Maybe someone from Yield Nodes, Steve or Urs or somebody could contact me and share this information as to whether they've actually sold assets, or perhaps even show us the assets if they're still there, the masternode equipment, etc. So that would be interesting. So Steve, Urs, if you want to share that information, then please contact me. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the audit videos that were put out last year. I think I mentioned this in the last video, but some of these guys who went over, some of these big crypto influencers, James Pelton, etc., said that they seen a lot of the transactions, and they seen that they were massively over collateralized, 130% over collateralized. That was in July 2022.
They have about 30% more collateral than they do total people invested. So they could pay off all investors right now and still have about 30% left over. And I saw the numbers for this. Okay, so I can verify that. So if they just stopped all new investments, I think they would still be sustainable.
And by October, 3-4 months later, they've got 10% left of the assets. So where has that 120% gone? It does say on the Yield Nodes website, if you look back on Wayback Machine, you can get a copy of the Yield Nodes website from how it used to be. And it does say there that all the servers and coin activity and everything is monitored 24/7, and that if things start to look like they're not performing so well, then action will be taken. So between July and October, they've lost 120% of our assets. How has that even happened? Has it just been massively mismanaged, or did they see it and not care, or what's happened there? How can you go from being 130% over collateralized in July to 12 weeks, 15 weeks later, having only 10% of the funds left? Doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Finally, I just wanted to mention Yield Nodes Legal. I spoke about this last week. I have been speaking to these guys at Yield Nodes Legal. Man, they've got a lot of background information on the people behind Yield Nodes, on Yield Nodes itself, on what came before Yield Nodes, what they believe will happen going forward. I can't really mention much about that conversation just yet, but in the coming weeks, I'm sure we'll be able to shed some light on things and share that information. So keep your eyes peeled for those videos. If you've not done so already, then check out the Yield Nodes Legal website, check out their Discord server. I'll leave links down below. Also check out the Facebook group, which I'll leave links to down below. And that's it, guys. They were just the things I wanted to mention. And like I say, I didn't want to go on with myself too much, because like I say, I've got to be very careful about what I say. I don't want to make accusations, wild accusations, misinformed accusations, incorrect accusations. I don't want to do that. I just want what's best for me as an investor. I've got €5,500 in there that I want back, because times are hard for all of us, and I want that money back as much as we all do. Some of these guys, Yield Nodes Legal, some of these guys have got much more than I've got invested into it, so I can see why they want the money back as well. But it's all relative. It doesn't matter what you've got invested in there. At the end of the day, that's our money, and we've got every right to get it back if it's not being managed, the way it should, if it's being invested in ways to which we agreed to, if it's being frozen without our consent, if there's still funds available, which there should be. There's lots of reasons, and there's lots of things that we need to look into, and we need to get to the bottom of. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you found it useful. If you've got any comments, questions, feedback, leave them down below. Send me an email if you've got any information. Hopefully we'll get to the bottom of this, and hopefully we can all come out of this with a smile on our faces. Take care of yourselves. See you all soon.